Good morning. It is a very warm early morning. It is just after 6 o'clock or so, and it's going to be another blazing hot day today. And it's still somewhat cool, so I'm sitting on my bicycle, riding down the street, over the sidewalk sometimes. Going on a little bike ride, enjoying the coolness as long as it lasts. It's not very cool, it's still pretty warm. It never really cooled down last night, but it is cooler. Yeah, it gets really hot these days. On today's video, I want to talk about what I know and why I want things to go the way I want them to go. And that if people do not want to go my way, then I cannot be with them, or I cannot get personal with them. I cannot be involved with them. I don't want to be involved with them. And my way, of course, has to do with my embodied language and the way of other people who I reject and who I cannot be with, because I cannot be with them. That's the people who have disembodied language. Good morning. And so people who want to have disembodied language, they would let me be the one to tell them that they have disembodied language. It's not they themselves who say, "Oh, I was having disembodied language." No, they would like me to be the one to say to them that they have disembodied language. But I do not want to be that person. I do not want to be the one who tells them that they have disembodied language. They've got to say that to themselves. And if they don't want to do that, then I don't want to deal with them anymore. That's how it is. Every time I have pointed it out to people, that they have disembodied language, they have they have basically accused me of something that I haven't done. They have accused me of me being the one that, I don't know, made them do things which they didn't want to do or something. But I don't make anybody do what they don't want to do. If people want to have disembodied language, it's fine with me. I don't want to be with them. That's just how it is. I go on with embodied language. Yeah. I'm trying to find a way to say why it is the way it is. That's kind of how it is. Yeah. But I believe I just said it quite well. It is always the people who have disembodied language, and they, of course, they don't know or they don't want to know, and they want to accuse somebody else for having disembodied language because they are hurt, they are, traumatized, they have all kinds of problems. They believe they deserve to be, accommodated. Yeah, they're victims, and they, or they believe they're arrogant. They believe that they are better than others. They believe they are important enough to be listened to. Yeah. Person a person who has disembodied language is always a person who demands other people to listen to them in one way or another, whether it is with their victimhood or whether it is with their supposed superiority. They always demand other people to listen to them. I don't demand anyone to listen to me, but I'm not going to listen to anyone who has disembodied language and who doesn't want to admit this to themselves. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. And I believe also, since I am the one who is so acutely aware of this, since I'm the one who is making this distinction so sharply, unlike other people who always mess up, yeah. The bottom line is, other people, they do not know it as well as I do. And yeah, they may hate me for it, but I do know it better than they do. And it's not because I have been dealing with it longer than they did, because they may have also experienced what it is like to listen to themselves, and they may have also experienced the benefits of that. But there's something else which makes me you could say the expert in this particular topic. And it has to do, of course, with my unique behavioral history. And I do not mean unique in the way that I'm better than other people. It is unique in the way that I have a certain background which other people don't have. They also have a unique background. But my background comes from, years and years of searching, years and years of also being frustrated about communication, years and years of not knowing what I was doing wrong and why I've always felt so rejected, why nobody wanted to be my friend, feeling sad about that, and also always experimenting, always trying to figure things out, always turning myself upside down, inside out, and reading every available book on the topic of, awareness, enlightenment, meditation, and doing all these meditations, going to gurus. I've been involved in all of that. And on top of that, I have a very strong affinity with music and love and sound. And so there's all sorts of instances in my life which made me aware of the importance of sound in my life. I have never been able to learn anything from anyone who I found wasn't sounding right or wasn't sounding good to me. I've never learned anything from anyone who I felt was sounding painful to me, because I experience the sound that I do not like as painful. I experience the sound of someone with disembodied language as hurtful, as upsetting. And I often got upset. I often got frustrated, angry. I do not do that anymore, because that is something that's now behind me. But I've done that a lot, and perhaps there's still a remnant of my history of conditioning, but excuse me. Good morning. So, but yeah, I have. I also studied classical singing in which you listen to your sound of your voice to try to make it sound beautiful. So, yeah, I listened to my sound a lot in the past, even while I was not even aware that it was having something to do with listening to yourself while you speak. It was only in my 20s that I began to hone in on this issue, that I could listen to myself while I speak. I found a gong. Yeah, I told you about that maybe in previous videos. You have heard me speak about that. Yeah, I once found a gong. That was a very unusual moment, where I found this gong in a box in an attic of a house where I was, good morning, where I was living. And at that moment I was really in a bad, yeah, you could say in a bad mood, because I felt like I didn't know how to go on. Let me put it this way. I felt a certain sense of that something had to end. Let me put it that way. And that's not to say that I was suicidal. I was never suicidal. I always felt like, no, I can go on with something else. I always felt very positive in that sense. It's strange how that is. Yeah, that I never gave up exploring. I never gave up experimenting. And so at that moment I was at a total loss, and I was sitting in an attic of the house where I lived, and the attic was empty, and there was a box in the corner underneath the roof, and the rest of the attic was empty. And since I was curious, I was sitting there trying to sort of get my bearings, trying to meditate, trying to see the light. But no, I saw that box in the corner, and I pulled that box away, and I opened that box to see what was in it. And as I looked in it, there was just a couple of old books. And good morning. Hello, hi, hello. I put these books aside. They were just old books. I was having no interest in them. And then underneath these books, I suddenly see this gong. A little gong, you know, a gong that you can hit with a stick and a ball. And yes, there was also a stick with a ball on it. And I took out that stick, I took out that gong, and I held it in my hand, and I hit the gong with the stick and the ball. And I hear that sound, and the sound was going like boing, boing, boing. As I heard that sound, good morning, I said out loud to myself, good morning, I said out loud to myself, wow, that sounds good. But I said it in the midst of my own despair. I said it in the midst of my uncertainty about where am I going with my life? When am I ever going to become clear about who I am and what I want in life? And I was distraught. I was not really depressed, but I was just dissatisfied also, very dissatisfied. So dissatisfied that I didn't want to talk with other people anymore, that the conversations that I was having with other people, they were just so annoying to me and so disturbing and so problematic that I just said, no, it's better not to talk at all. So it was just out of frustration that I was sitting there and trying to be meditative. And even though I've done all these meditations, I was still feeling that way. And nobody wanted to talk with me. And nobody wanted to talk with me apparently the way I did. But when I heard that gong, I said, oh, that sounds good. And I said to myself, yeah, this is how I want to talk, with this sound. Yeah. And I began to speak with that sound, that same sound that the gong had, that same resonant sound. I felt it. I felt that that gong was a moment in time for me to tune in to a sound, good morning, which I found pleasurable. And suddenly I was talking with myself, and I was listening to the sound of my own voice while I was speaking. And I said, yeah, I want to speak with this sound. No other sound than this. Yeah. And ever since that moment, it was somewhere in my 20s, I have been doing what I could to be able to speak with that sound. And I have. I did what I had to do to be able to continue to speak with that sound. And I'm still doing that. And I'm so fortunate that I started doing that. You know, right after that moment when that happened, when I found that gong, it was so beautiful, because the moment I heard myself speak with that sound, I felt instantly relieved. I felt instantly happy. I felt instantly something was relaxing in me, something was calming down in me. And it was so marvelous. I said, oh wow, I can talk with myself and I can hear myself. Good morning, how are you doing? It is just such a beautiful phenomenon that I can be like this. And I do not do anything to, I don't do any effort. It's just happening by itself because I tune into my sound while I speak. It's just amazing. It was such a beautiful moment, which has continued and continued to happen. And some year or so, 2 ago, I do not know exactly. I don't keep track of time. Time doesn't matter to me. I decided that, this is my enlightenment. This is my language enlightenment, because I speak with embodied language and ongoing embodied language. Yeah, that's my language enlightenment. And I'm well aware nobody has embodied language. I have it, but other people don't have it. And if they want to have it, they gotta come to me to have it, because on their own they're not having it. And they're not having it for all sorts of reasons that they don't know about and that I know about. This is another reason why they should be with me. I can't help it that they are offended. I can't help it that they're pissed off or whatever it is, that they're arrogant or that they're full of themselves or that they are entitled or whatever, everybody has their particular, good morning. Everybody has their particular, we say ego, but it has nothing to do with ego. Everybody has their particular disembodied language, And disembodied language is just a way of speaking in which you do not listen to yourself while you speak. So as long as you go on with that, you cannot have embodied language. So on this video, as you can hear me say, it is really a matter of other people who listen to this to understand, to acknowledge that they don't know what it is that I'm talking about. And No, it's not a matter. I do not need your money. I do not need your approval. I do not need anything from you. The only thing I am asking from you is that you stop your own disembodied language, because I cannot do it for you. I cannot do it for you. It may have seemed as if in the past other people felt that being with me, it was me who did that. It may have seemed that way, that they believed that, or somehow they felt that. And that's why they sort of just they sort of agreed to get along with me because I invited them. They did not invite themselves. They did not say to me. Maybe they did say a little bit to me, I want to be with you. And maybe there was some awareness of their disembodied language, but that awareness did never reach far enough. It never continued long enough for them to continue with me. And so at some point, certain things became apparent which they just didn't want to continue with. And then, okay. So your embodied language, if you continue with it, it will reveal everything that's wrong with you. And you cannot you can say, oh, I want to have embodied language only as long as it talks about everything that I know, or everything that I believe, so that it confirms my belief. No, your embodied language doesn't confirm your belief in yourself and in what you have believed. So you have to somehow be able to come to terms with that, because if you cannot fully acknowledge that your embodied language has nothing to do with what you have previously believed, absolutely nothing, well, then I guess embodied language is not for you. And so I've had to deal with it myself, and I'm still dealing with it, because I don't claim that my history of conditioning with this embodied language is completely vanished. But I am very capable in acknowledging that, oh, my gosh, that must have been my history of conditioning again, that I was saying that, or that I was behaving that way. So I personally have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, each time that happens, which is not very often, it is almost like a reminder of something that I feel so grateful that I have gone through that. I feel so fortunate that this has all come to pass, that I have been able to express it in the way that I do. Good morning. And so here I am, riding my bicycle. It's a lovely, rather cool morning, much cooler than what it will be during the day, because during the day it is getting bloody hot. Now entering the park here. I'm kind of going in the opposite direction of what I usually ride when I ride my bicycle. I don't know, it just happened that I do this. It's kind of interesting how it can be like that. I didn't decide that, it just happens. And the words which I'm using today are just the words that I'm having today, which I wasn't having yesterday. The energy which I have today is the energy I have today. I wasn't having this energy yesterday. And here I am, speaking about my own mastery, basically. My mastery of my embodied language. And I find it very laughable that so many people that I see and hear every day, because I go to the gym, I go to the sports club, I see all these people and they talk with each other, but they are just so phony. And they always kind of look at me, they always avoid me. Some of them say hello to me, but basically nobody really comes to me to talk with me. And the reason is because they know that if you are with me, things happen on my terms, not on your terms. I mean, consider this for a second, okay? Consider for a second the fact that I am saying this because I have embodied language. I am saying this because I have embodied language. And so if I would do things on your terms, I would be having disembodied language. I just don't want that. So that's why it has to be on my terms, because there can only be embodied language if things occur on my terms. Yeah, that's how it is. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I make you do things or that I demand something from you. No, it is simply the way it works. You know, when you bring your car to, let's say, a shop to have some stuff taken care of, I don't know, maybe your car needs some repairs, some maintenance. You want a mechanic who knows what they're doing, right? And that goes for so many other things. If you want to have, I don't know, your roof done or something, or you want to have your plumbing fixed. You want to work with a roofer or with a plumber that knows what they're doing. Well, I know what I'm doing with my embodied language. And so if you can just trust that, trust me to let you know that it is true. But yeah, you don't. Okay, then you stay away. Well, then that's fine. Then that's why I live how I live. That's why I live pretty much a solitary life, in spite of the fact that I'm very happily married with my beloved wife Bonnie, who has seen me and heard me go through all these trials and errors which I was just talking about. And she is very happy for me right now that at this point in time I am where I am. And I am happy for myself, I'm happy for her, I am proud of her, I am grateful to her that she basically has supported me in this all along, but she had to let me figure it out myself. And she did. And I feel very fortunate about that as well, that she has not stopped me from doing what I wanted to do and what I believed was important. It was all important because it has brought me where I am today. So I'm very happy where I am, even though I don't have anyone at this moment besides my wife to have these conversations with. But I'm glad that I am true to what this is, because to me, I cannot do what people want me to do on their terms. I've never been able to do that. And perhaps it is only my wife, Bonnie, who I love, and who, because I love her, is also playing an enormous big role in how all of this embodied language has come about. Because we chose not to have any children. And It is because of our marriage, it is because of our relationship, it is because of our truthful relationship that embodied language emerged as a product, if you will, as a outcome of our interaction. In me, yeah? My embodied language emerged due to my relationship with my wife. I could say that, you know? And so you can say it is, it's a sort of a, you could say it is a sort of a psychological child or something. It is. It really is. It is a phenomenon which is totally new, which has a life of its own. And it took me a long, long time to just get to know it and to really begin to understand and acknowledge and be able to recognize, oh, this is how embodied language is. And as you can tell, I speak about embodied language as it is something which is totally outside of me. Do you get that? Yeah, if embodied language was a child of us, it would also be having its own life. Well, in the same way, embodied language has its own life. And morning. And it is growing and developing all the time. I'm just going to sit a little bit, take a little break. That sometimes needs to do that. Here is a nice spot near the creek. So nice to be here. But look, people just dump their drinks there on the side. So disrespectful. But yeah, what can you do? So I want to sit here for a little bit and just wait to tell you a little more about why it has to be, why it has to be my way of embodied language and not your way of disembodied language. Because, yeah, of course people have this saying, you know, like my way or the highway. No, it's not about my way or the highway. It is my way or no way. And if you don't want my way, well, then I just keep on going my way. I don't claim to be on the highway. Or, well, I claim to be having a better way than your way, for sure. And you can call it highway if you want. That's fine. You will not find what I talk about anywhere else. And so, yeah, this whole idea of high or low, to me actually it is irrelevant. And better than you also is not really relevant. I just want to go on with my own way. That's all it is. And I've always done that, in spite of all the things that have happened. Yeah. In spite of so-called friendships I've had, in spite of jobs I've had, in spite of studies I've done and careers I've had, I go on with this. So if you want it, you gotta come and get it. And no, you're not gonna get it from me. You're gonna get it with me. Yeah? So with me, you're gonna know your disembodied language has been stopped by you. You did it. You wanted to stop your disembodied language so that you could have embodied language with me. That's how it is. And we have embodied language, and you will find out that it is wonderful. It doesn't cost you anything. Yeah, I don't charge any money for this. To me, it's not a business. And to me, it is also not about your idiotic spirituality. Yeah, it's not about your idiotic ideas. Ideas about, what you call your mind or your consciousness or your meditation or your whatever, your religion or all your superstitious nonsense. It's not about that at all. So yeah, if you still want to be busy with that, you're probably not going to be with me. I'm not going to sit and wait for you. I'm not going to kiss ass, to your phony beliefs. To me, it's all phony because it is the replacement of embodied language. Yeah, make no mistake. It is everything that you believe in is false, but it is the replacement of your embodied language. It is the continuation of your disembodied language which makes all these crazy ideas that you walk around with continue. And ideas, you don't walk around with ideas, you walk around with disembodied language. Yeah, and you don't walk around with it, of course. It's just a habit which can be stopped. Yeah. And it's just as simple as this, I was telling my wife this morning. I said to her, because I put myself on the scale and I had weighed myself, and I was weighing a tenth of an ounce lighter than yesterday. A tenth of an ounce is not much, but it is a beginning. And I said to her, well, it's going down. The weight is going down, and I want to lose a little bit of weight. And so, and I said to her, well, it's just a matter of tracking, tracking your weight. Once you see it, yeah, if it goes up, then it means that you just want to gain weight. So don't tell me that it's so difficult to lose weight. No, if your weight keeps going up, then it means you want to gain weight. You don't know it, but you have to admit it, that's what you do. You want to gain weight. If you see it going down, that means that finally you want to lose weight. And then it goes down. And of course you can't be too rigid about this, because otherwise you get another additional problem. So many people have problems with the weight. I don't have a problem with my weight. It's just that I recently changed some of my habits, and I noticed that I had a little bit of weight loss. And I thought it was interesting. Yeah. And all of a sudden I feel so good about losing some weight, so I'm losing some weight. Yeah. One thing leads to another. But yeah, I want to lose some weight. So it's a busy spot here. I see many people coming by. This is kind of like a turning point in the park where everybody kind of turns around. Yeah. So yeah, you want it or you don't want it. And if you don't contact me, I want you to have as a conclusion of watching this video, because you've watched it all the way till this moment. If you don't try to get in contact with me and have embodied language with me, if you refuse to stop your disembodied language, yeah, then the conclusion of this video is that that's what you want. You just want to continue with your stupid disembodied language. Okay, well, good luck to you. What a waste of time that you've listened to this video. If you come to me and have embodied language, we will have a good laugh about this.